G'day. Welcome back to another sunny, dry Griffiths garden. It's no rain, and we don't expect that in December, to be honest. Maybe a storm, and certainly a couple of years ago we had some pretty bad storms. But that's for another day. Today we're going to talk about the corn behind me here. We don't think we're going to have enough corn for the year, so we're going to plant some more. Now, this stuff is about 10 weeks old. It went in early October, the first week of October, and now it's about a week before Christmas. And you can see that up here, the male flowers have started. Their tassels, you can see all their tassels. So pollination is not that far away. And the female, of course, is the ear that shoots out the side. But there's quite a few of these pretty much ready to explode. So this corn is not actually that tall. A little bit disappointing. Not sure why. It's not 6 foot tall because it's in a raised bed, which is about a foot tall. But you can see here that the stalks are quite robust, they're quite strong, they're quite green, they're quite thick. Maybe there's a few too many in there. I don't think so. Bit too much cooch in there, that's for sure. But it should be getting enough sun because it's still plenty of sun now, and it's 5:30 in the evening. So just another look at these tassels. The male flower of the corn plant. And in the shade of that 5 foot corn, I've got some replacements today. There's probably about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's probably about 14 or so replacements, and well, they're too big, too late for growing seed, and they are at best horrible. That's, big box store seedlings this time of year, it's probably the best you can get. So if we can get something out of them before the end of, I guess, after summer, but you know, not too far into autumn, then fantastic. So yeah, pretty underwhelming, but we'll give them a go and see what they end up like. So we're going to put them outside in one of the raised beds out near the cucumbers. So I'll grab the foreman and we'll go outside and get one of the raised beds ready. I've just pulled some parsley out of it, so if you recognise that bed, that's the one that had the parsley in. So let's go and do that. So here we have the raised bed in question. Looks like a bit of a mess, doesn't it? But here's the ingredients for today. And the remnants of the parsley, well, one of them anyway. That's the root system. It snapped off as I tried to pull it out, but the rest of it's gone to the chickens, so guess what? The chickens will have a good deal of fun playing with that. This is the bit of irrigation that I use in all of these here. It's just some of that rubber irrigation hose that I've talked about before. With good soil, it soaks through quite well. So if your soil isn't good, it's just going to go straight through, and with a shape like that, not going to distribute the water very well around the bed. It's a bit more of the roots. But what I'm going to do to try to combat that is improve the soil. And you've probably seen that wheelbarrow load of ingredients next to the bed here. So let's get these horrible specimens aside for the moment. What do we have here? Now, he's not the right variety, and he probably hasn't had the right meal either to put on the plate, so we'll put it on the chicken's plate. Yep, they're fighting over it. They love snails. So we're going to try and improve this soil. It's not overly terrible, to be honest. You can see it's quite rich, and it still holds a bit of moisture, and it hasn't. Actually, it was watered earlier, so definitely can improve. But it's not dry, dusty, horrible dirt, right? So what we're going to do is, I got 2 bags out here, but I'm only going to use one. This is a garden soil planting mix. So you can probably get this type of thing anywhere. Don't worry about the brand or whatever. It's just, you know, rich composted blend for creating new garden beds and topping up gardens. Not the cheapest thing you can come across, and certainly not the most expensive either, but what you want is something that's going to have a few bits and pieces in it other than just dirt. You end up with, you know, stuff that does this. It's not going to help you grow your vegetables at all. So this is 50 litres, and 50 litres, if you put it about 5 centimetres thick, you'll cover about a square metre. Those that understand metric will understand that. If not, I guess you'll have to get a calculator. So we're going to put all of this on, and it's probably going to struggle to fit, but we'll give it a go. Your garden beds always settle as well, right? So as they get watered, as you pull things out of them, you take soil out and all the rest of it, they settle. As it rains, so that's that. Now, one thing to note, if you are a little bit sensitive with asthma or, you know, any sort of respiratory issues, probably wear a mask. Recommendation is to wear a mask when you're using potting mixes and things like that, just because of all of the, what are they called? All of the various soil-borne microbes and bits and pieces in there. Somebody will tell me what I'm trying to say. Put it in the comments down below, you know what I mean. Mould, all of that sort of stuff goes in the same description. Mould pores and things like that. Spores, I should say, not pores. Now, that's not the end of the story right there. Why? Because it's just put it on top. It's not actually in the soil. So we just need to get a bit of old-fashioned digging happening. I think you've seen me do plenty of digging before. If you haven't, go and check out the part 2 of the tomatoes. I think it is. There's a bit of digging in there. There's a bit of grunting and groaning as well. If you're not grunting and groaning in your own garden, then, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe getting somebody else to do it, maybe you're fiddling me. So, just try to give that a good mix in. And you can see all the root matter from other plantings, right? There's nothing wrong with that, because it's organic matter. That'll break down over time. Unless it's, you know, big clods of stuff that don't break up. And of course, like that other bit that I chucked to the chickens earlier. And there we have it. So a bit of a tickle in. It's definitely full, but it will definitely settle as well. One thing that I did also want to put in here, and I'll need to empty the wheelbarrow to do that. This is coconut coir, which it's just compressed, ground up coconut peat. It's just ground up material from coconuts, I think. And what it does is it absorbs water. So essentially it's like the water crystals or those types of things that you can buy, but this is organic matter as well. It soaks up moisture so your plants have it readily available. It doesn't just go through. So that's another addition to the soil. This makes 9 litres of material, I think. Add 4.5 litres of warm water. I think the sun will take care of that. I've got the watering can there. I'll just empty this into the wheelbarrow. Don't litter. Whatever you do, pick up your rubbish. Put it in the bin. So I'm going to put in this whole lot. Now they say it's a brick. It's definitely a brick. Now I've never used this before, so if I get it wrong, then tell me, because I don't have any guide to go by. But this has been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and well, you know, it's not heavy at all. It's like I guess it's like a very heavy sponge, but I don't know, maybe that weighs 500 grams, half a kilo, a pound maybe. Yeah, I want 4.5 litres. I've got 9 in here, so half of this. This will take a while to soak. But if you have a look at this, a bit more. A bit more. We're about there. So this will slowly soak the moisture up. It's probably going to take quite some time. And what I want to do is when this is going to expand, if I leave it in the water, it's going to soak up the water and expand, and the water will essentially be all absorbed into this brick, and then we're going to mix it into the top of there. And that'll add that material that I'm talking about. But it's starting to soften up. But this is probably going to take, oh gee, I don't know. It's probably going to take maybe an hour to soak up. Somebody doing a drive-by there that got lost. Maybe they come to check out Griffith's garden. Who knows? Subscribe on your way back. All right, so what I might do is feed the chickens another snail. There's obviously snails in the garden beds, which you know you'd expect, but you disturb them and they come out and say good day. That's going to take some time. I think I'll put the corn in, water it in with just normal water, and then I think I'll dig around. There's not that many corn plants there, so I'll just incorporate that in between all of the corn plants so that they can get in the ground tonight. And of course I can get this all recorded. Probably not ideal. Probably should incorporate that first. Well, not probably. You should incorporate that first. I definitely recommend that. But you know, again, your suburban garden isn't always perfect. So you make do with what you got and what time you have. And as you've seen before, with the weeds that are growing around here, you don't always get that time. So there's our lovely Australian wildlife again. I think it's a sulphur-crested cockatoo, actually. Anyway, foreman's arrived. He's told me it's what's that? I think he said beer o'clock. So we might just put some corn in here. He's backing away, so that's must have been correct. I'll put the corn in and I'll come back and have a look at this brick when I'm done, and they'll give you an idea of how quickly that does or doesn't soak in. Water it in and then go from there. So I'll do that. And that's some very poor corn in the ground. Now, I'm not expecting big things out of these. You saw how mature the root system was. Probably broke a few off, but you know, I think it was the chilies that I did earlier, capsicums even, they handle that fine. But these guys, I'm not so sure. And also, they're pretty flimsy, right? So I've buried them quite deep in the soil, and with a seed, you know, the roots start first, then the top comes up. So these ones don't really have that opportunity, but I've buried them a little bit deeper than what they probably should do, because corn essentially sits on the top of the ground, and you can see the little feeder roots go off from the stem out to the sides. But we'll see how these go. Anyway, they variety of corn. Sweet. As I said before, today's about a week before Christmas, and these are a high yielding corn which is ideal for growing in home vegetable gardens. Bonus. Harvest in 10 to 12 weeks. Now those ones out there are about 10 weeks old, so I'm not quite sure about harvest because they're just flowering, and the ears or cobs, the female flower has yet to form. So maybe that's indicative of our late start in the ACT for our summers. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's the big box seedlings, and it's too late to wait another 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks probably, for some seeds to come up. Probably maximum 2 weeks, because the soil is quite warm. So I guess by the end of, what are we, December, January, February, March. Towards the end of March, we should be picking these. So mark that in your calendar and see if I'm right. All right, so let's have a look in the wheelbarrow at this little brick. You can see there's not a lot of water left in there. And it's, well, look at that, starting to break up quite well. Now, see, so it's probably a while since I've played in the mud. I dare say to you guys, at least some of you as well. This needs a little bit more, because you can see there's still dry pieces in here. That just needs to soak up. But you can see it's not cloddy at all. It's just essentially a mush. You could almost say like a hairy mashed potatoes. It falls apart quite easily. If any of you use this, then comment down below, and certainly, you know, give me some tips, give others some tips on what works and what doesn't work. If it's good or not. I think it's a waste of time. It's just about soaked all that water up. And I think by the time I break these up, it'll be ready to put in. And that probably wasn't too long, maybe 20 minutes or something like that. So I think what I will do is put some in. So there's not much of this. Again, it's a bit of a trial. Let me know if it works for you. Anything to improve the water retention of your raised beds. Good things about raised beds, they're raised, so you can do this with them. Some of the not so good things about raised beds: water. If you don't have very good soil, it just doesn't run out the bottom, but you know, just it's not ground level, so it disappears. Anyway, it's pretty warm for the camera, so I'm just going to sort of tickle this in a bit so that it's actually in the ground. And if we lose comms, that means the camera's dropped out. But that's the idea. I'll probably put some mulch over here, maybe on the weekend, on top of this after it gets a good water in. And that'll help keep moisture in it as well. So I guess from a corn planting perspective, maybe they'll grow. Hopefully by the end of March we'll have some more corn, and let me know what you think about the coconut coir or peat, whichever way you want to talk about it. So I guess for today at least, that's probably it from Griffith's Garden from a corn perspective. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.